Welcome to Martini time. Beautiful day on Monday. The snow's about melted. It's in the 60s and best time of the day. So, the topic of this talk tonight is don't let the troll get you. So you see, I have to make my talks come out of everyday experience, and everyday experience comes out of my study and understanding of mythology and fairy tales. So the inspiration for the talk comes out of an everyday thing, everyday situation that has mythic proportions to it. So don't let the troll get you. So a friend of mine was over clearing up some tolls that he had collected because an easy pass a friend had given him ran out, and he used it thinking it still had some on it. So he had some tolls, and so he was clearing up. So I got to thinking about the troll. You know, on Facebook, trolls are someone who's, my understanding of a troll is somebody who kind of like tracks you or haunts you to just screw you up, just get you mad, and just say things that you don't agree with and get you going. You know, a troll. You know, that's kind of like being trolled. That's my understanding of it. But that's not the mythic understanding of the troll. If you Google troll, you'll see images of a bridge with a troll under it. And this is fairy tale stuff. You know, the little children have to pass over the bridge, and the troll says, you know, pay the toll. And of course, so the whole idea is you have to pay the troll the toll. So the toll is your fee to get over a bridge or a passage. And the troll is a threshold guardian. You have to get by the troll. And this is everywhere in mythology and in our everyday world. We don't even know what they look like, but they're there. When Yahweh created the Garden of Eden and kicked Adam and Eve out, you said, well, you get back in here, I'm going to put a threshold guardian. You got to get past the cherubim. If you go to a temple, there's going to be a gargoyle. If you go Gothic churches, gargoyles. If you go into in any great temple opening, there's going to be a temple guardian there. Dogs, lions, somebody guarding the door, you see. Even Ganesh, the famous Indian god Ganesha, the elephant-headed god. See, I got a bunch of these Ganesh. When I was in yoga, the spiritual yoga, the one with mythology, Ganesh was very important. You chanted Ganesh, Om Ganesh Ganapati Namaham, Om Ganapati Namaha, Ganapati Ganesh, Ganesha. See, here he is, right there. That is a threshold guardian. That is a threshold guardian. You see, usually they're very angry. They're demons. You have to get by the demon in order to get. And even the story of Ganesh was that. I mean, he was Shiva and Parvati in Indian mythology, Indian lore, Hindu lore. The god and the goddess are a married couple. And not like Yahweh, who got divorced. They married Shiva and Parvati, and so they got a bedroom. And they wanted to keep people out, so they put their son there to guard the door. Threshold guardian. He's going to keep people from getting into the inner sanctum. Only the pure get in there. Only the righteous, you see, get into the inner sanctum. They have to get by the threshold guardian. So Shiva was coming home one night. Maybe he was a little drunk, and he said, "Get out of the way," and he chopped his head off. And Parvati said, "Do you realize you just cut your son's head off?" So, "Oh, God, I'm sorry." So he tells these men to go out and find the first head you can get and stick it on that. So they go out and find an elephant and put the head on the elephant god. Now, of course, in Indian mythology, it's all so beautiful. It's touchable. It's like a teddy bear. I mean, you can feel it. So if you're going through the jungle and you want to get through the jungle in India, who do you get behind? An elephant. So anyway, the gods of India, I don't know why I'm getting on this, but all mythological in the sense that they are metaphors. God is not a real elephant. That's a metaphor. So, the threshold guardian is a metaphor. Let's see, I've got a bunch of them here. Well, Ganesh is an obvious one. Jesus is a threshold guardian. If you want to get to God, you got to go through this, you see. But he's not a evil guardian. He's not a demon guardian. He is a kind of a puzzle. You got to figure it out, guardian. You got to understand. You got to figure out the puzzle, like a Zen cone. But even Jesus and Buddha encountered a threshold guardian. When Buddha was sitting under the Bodhi tree, and he was entering awakening, before he could get there, he encountered Mara. And Mara came and gave him 3 tests: fear, desire, and doubt. And Buddha passed the tests. And Christ was tempted. A test, you see. And the Father is a threshold guardian for the children. Children live in the world of the mother. But then when they move from the womb of the mother, you see there's 2 wombs there. There's the physical womb, then there's the childhood womb, and then they go through the passage of adolescence, and they have to get to the other side, which is adulthood and individuation and maturity. So the threshold guardian to the other shore, biologically, the other shore of maturity and individuation, that's operating, that's a birth. Adolescence is a birth from the womb of the mother to the adult world, and the Father is the threshold guardian. You got to pass the tests. If you want the keys to the car, you got to pass the test, you see. So the son or the daughter has to pass the test in order to enter and be eligible to enter the adult world with the powers of the adult world, you see. There are powers on the other shore. You see, that's the whole thing about this passage, you see. And the basic metaphor is the bridge and the troll underneath it and somebody wanting to get to the other side. So the passage is always between one state of being and another state of being. So this is an evolutionary passage. This is a passage to another way of being in the world, which gives you more power than the previous way. So the adult has more power than the child, you see. Or even if you go into a secret organization, there's going to be a threshold. So whatever transition you're making it because when you get to the other side, you're going to have more power. The best natural metaphor for this is the caterpillar who has no power. He crawls on the earth. He goes through a bridge. He goes through a cocoon, and he becomes out a butterfly. A worm, a butterfly. But the worm has no idea what the butterfly is, yet he goes through the transition. He gives up his wormness without knowing what he's going to get. So this is just the intention of the caterpillar to become a butterfly. It's not like, but in a human terms, the child has no idea what it's like to be an adult. And then you move into the spiritual dimensions. And so here's the 3 things. So you got the child, the womb of the child. You got a bridge to adulthood, which is the womb of the world. In Western culture, that's it. The womb of the world is the real world. But in spiritual culture, in the spiritual quest, there's another transition. Now you want to get to and there's no word for it. Call it enlightenment, awakening, authenticity, inner peace, the self. In Christian religious terms, the kingdom of heaven, you see. Salvation, kingdom of heaven. the other shore, the other side. So there's a third, there's a rebirth. All the scriptures say you have to be reborn. So the first birth, you see, we think in our terms, well, the first birth was born from the mother. And then we have to get born in Christianity. Well, that's a very short thing. If you combine the two, so you got the birth from the physical womb, and the fetus has no idea what it's like to be a baby, but he goes through that transition, becomes a baby, a child, and he lives in the mythic world, the story world of childhood, which is timeless. We've been talking about time. Last night I talked about time. So there's the childhood is the timeless world. Now he's going to get born into the world of time. Now he has to function. Now he gets a watch. See, when my father graduated from Annapolis, his grandmother, Gussie, gave him this watch. And that is a symbol. And that, maybe not so much now, but it used to be a graduation symbol. Now you have earned the power to control time. Now you are entering the world of time, you see. And this is the world of the space grid, the space-time space grid that we in the West say is real. This is it. But in the spiritual dimensions, from the East, and from the mystic Christianity that was in the Catholic Church, the mystical world, that's not the final birth. There is another birth, you see. And there's going to be a threshold guardian. So the father, biological father, is the threshold guardian of the adolescent to the world of time, the adult world, where you operate as an individual, your individuation, you see. And then there's the next, now we don't know what that is. But they're threshold guardians. So if you feel the urge, if you feel the, like the caterpillar feels the urge, it's time to go into the cocoon. The adolescent feels the urge, I want to be an adult. This is the intention of your life. This is the intentional urge of evolution. This is the intentional urge of life itself, of the cosmos. You see, this is not something you can give or not take. It's something you can't deny. The urge to evolve, to change, to grow. Whenever we get static and frozen in time, a lot of stories about that. You get frozen in a Groundhog Day. That's the great movie. Groundhog Day. You're frozen in a tape loop, an endless tape loop of repeating the same day over and over and over. You repeat the same emotional patterns over and over. You repeat the same arguments, like on Facebook, the same arguments over and over and over. You can't break out. You want to break out. You want to break. You want to get through to the other side, but you can't. Because there's a threshold guardian. There's fear. I don't want to go there because who will I be? I'll have to give up who I am, my investment in my powers, you see. Oh, I've studied non-duality, and I've studied Freud and Jung and all of that, you see. I have a lot of powers now. I can command a conversation. Do I want to give that up? Oh, no, you see. And yet I feel this urge to transcend, but I can't give up my wormness. I can't become a butterfly because there's no certainty what a butterfly is. If I knew what a butterfly was, I would become a butterfly, but then that's not the unknown. That's the known, you see. So I stay in the known world. I stay repeating around and around and around, you see. I know something's wrong, but I don't know what it is. Because I'm not ready for the threshold guardian, and I'm not ready to go through the threshold guardian. I don't want to pay the toll. I don't want to pay the toll. What's the toll? You have to give up your investment in the world, in the womb you've got. So the fetus gives up his investment in this beautiful little womb world where everything is great. You see, Freud went back there and said, oh, that's what we all want to be. We all want to be back in the womb, you see. Well, that's one way to look at it, but it's a very limited way. It's a very, so anyway. So Carl Jung, moved to the, it's not we want to go back, it's why don't we move forward. We want to transcend. Freud was, we want to go back, you see. And paradise was in the past. For Jung, it was in the paradise gained, you see. But even that is limited. Because these are all intellectual wombs. Every philosophical theory, every religion, every scientific theory is a womb of the known. We make the world known by our theories and our maps and all that. But they're always limited, and we always run up against the limitation of it, the edge, like the edge of the earth, and we don't want to go there, so we just keep going around and around, you see. And so we don't go through that threshold guardian because it's fear of the unknown and fear of not knowing what you'll be if you go through. The fear of giving up the known, where I have a certain amount of powers, don't want to give them up for maybe I got no powers. You see, so you see the sense I'm trying to create here. Threshold guardian. Oh, threshold guardian. You see this one here. You see Shiva. That's a threshold guardian. If you see Shiva, you turn to salt. In other words, there's a lot of stories in the Bible. If you see God, you die. If you see Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, when Krishna reveals himself to him, Arjuna is reduced to a quivering mass of, come back come back. I can't take it. I can't take this LSD trip. I can't take this awakening. Come back into a form that allows me to communicate with you, God. Don't come to me in this threshold guardian, awesome, blow my mind out, you see, LSD trip. I can't handle that, you see. Come back in a teddy bear form so I can talk with you. You see, so then God's compassion comes back as a teddy bear, as a person, as a Jesus. And so now I'm comfortable, you see. Now I'm comfortable. Phew, I thought I would have to go through the door, you see, but no, I'm comfortable now. I don't have to do anything. Jesus can do it for me. I don't have to go. I don't have to leave my wormness. Jesus did it. So anyway, the threshold guard is a fascinating investigation into the Groundhog Day of our life and why we don't want to pay the toll, why we don't want to give up what we know for the unknown, which is evolution. Evolution means going where nobody's been before. Star Trek, you see. Thanks for dropping in.